I don't want to have to edit this video, so I'm gonna make it real quick. Hey Naomi, one day you're gonna watch this video, or at least I hope you do. I hope that YouTube sticks around long enough for you to grow up and be able to watch this video, because I'm your mom and I'm putting it out on YouTube. And I hope that when you grow up and you see me one day, you feel just as inspired as the people online do. But in your case, I'm your mom. I'm your real mom. You have access to me, but I just want you to, I'm gonna do a Dear Naomi video, because not only do I want you to know what's on my mind at this very moment in time, which is, I could call you and talk to you, but you're like, right now you're 8 years old, so you're not gonna understand what I'm saying. You might not understand the depth in which I'm speaking because you're 8 years old. But today is Friday, July 19th at 5:30 p.m. It's literally July 19th, Friday, 5:30 p.m. So that you'll be able to, like, OMG, you know, reflect back in that time, like, wow, I wonder what was my mom doing around this time, because I have those thoughts about my own mom. Like, I wonder what was my mom doing, like, when she first had me, you know, what was she thinking when she first had me? Like, what type of woman did it create her to become? You know, what was her first thoughts? Like, when she first found out she was pregnant with me, what was her first thoughts when she found out that she was about to bring a human into this world that she could name, that she could, you know, influence to be a woman in this world, you know, which is like what I've done with you, you know, Naomi. I have birthed you. Like, I remember when I first found out I was pregnant with you, and it was like, OMG, I'm about to have a baby, you know. Now, Naomi, by the time you're watching this, I have to be honest with you. That's why I'm making this video in this moment in time, because I'm being honest with you. You weren't the first time I got pregnant. You weren't. I was so scared. I was so scared. I was so scared the first time I got pregnant. The very first time I ever got pregnant in my life, I was afraid. And that could happen to you too. Or it can happen to any woman watching this video. Your very first time you get pregnant, you are afraid. You are scared. You have no idea what's about to happen. You have no idea how your life is going to change. You have no idea the trajectory that you're about to face due to you getting pregnant and having a baby. So I wanted to make this video to speak to you, to let you know how I felt when I had you, and what was I thinking, what was I experiencing, what was I going through, why did I allow you to go to Africa at such a young age, all those things, all those questions you may have, even questions that people on this platform may have right now, in regards to why did I let my child go to Africa, my only child. Well, I have to tell you, my mentality was, I needed to do everything. If I was gonna have a baby, like the first time I got pregnant, I wasn't prepared. The second time I got pregnant, it was like, oh my gosh, this was totally, they both times they were unexpected, but I just couldn't do it. So when you came along, it was like, oh snap, I'm married. I'm so happy to be married to your father. I was so in love with your father. I love your father. He's a great man. I'm so glad that I had a kid with him. And it was like, oh my gosh, our lives about to change. I was 22 when I got pregnant with you. 22 when I got pregnant with you, and I was so afraid of what would happen. However, I knew that my life was going to change, and I didn't know how. So when you came along, I got pregnant with you, I breastfed you, I brought you into this world, cesarean section. I didn't have you vaginal birth, I had you cesarean section. You know what's crazy about your birth is you came a week early. You were supposed to be born on December 1st, but you were born on November 24th. And that happened because I was at home with your dad, and I was eating the chiboujon, or was it chiboujon, or like I think it was like the seafood okra soup. Your dad knows what I'm talking about. I forgot what it's called, but it had like eggplant in it, and that started making me have like contractions. So as I'm having contractions, I am like, OMG, babe, we need to go to the hospital. So we go to the hospital, and when we get to the hospital, what happens is they keep me overnight. They're checking my blood pressure, checking your blood pressure, checking your heart rate, checking my heart rate, just monitoring us. When they were getting ready to release me to go home after realizing, after they were timing my contractions and realizing that, I'll be okay, as they were getting ready to release me to go home, your heart rate dropped. And they said that I had to have an emergency C-section. So you had to come into this world on November 24th, 2015, because you were determined to be here. So as you were determined to be here, I stayed in that hospital overnight, and I was, oh my gosh, I had to get Pitocin. And they kept giving me Pitocin to make me dilate so that I could birth you. But it wasn't happening. You were just like, my vagina just was not opening up. So after I realized that, it wasn't opening up, they said that we're going to have to give you an emergency C-section today. And I was so afraid. I was absolutely terrified, because I was comfortable with you growing in my belly and being like, okay, I have a little bit more time. I kept giving myself like I have time. I was just afraid because I'm a new time parent, like a first time parent. So I was so afraid. However, once I realized that you were coming into this world, my paradigm shifted, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be a mother. I can't believe this. My dreams have come true. I used to have old friends telling me that, I told one of my old friends that I was going to have my husband's first baby. I wasn't going to be one who wanted to have multiple babies by the same. I don't want to be a baby mama. It's nothing against baby mamas, but I just knew that I didn't want that for myself. And I'm telling you, you don't have to have that for yourself. If you feel like you want to get married and have your kid, then you wait on it, never settle. Because that's what I did. I didn't settle. My friends was telling me, you're never going to find a man who doesn't have children. I didn't believe them. I found your father. He had no children. We came together. We had you. When we had you at the hospital, at Northside Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, the day that we had, your dad cut the umbilical cord, your dad signed the birth certificate, your dad was there every step of the way, your dad was there all throughout the process, your dad has always been around, and I made sure of that because I was very cognizant of who I had kids with and who was going to be my child's father, because I knew the repercussions that were at hand, not based on example because I did anything, but based on example because I seen what it was like for parents to go through not being married when they had kids, or being married when they had kids and they still separated, i.e. me and your dad. But I'd much rather bring you into a stable home, and I did bring you into a stable home where you had both your parents so that you could succeed as you are today. When you're watching this video, I know that you've been I know that you're successful. I know that you're successful because your father and I put our needs aside and made sure that you became successful. And even if you're not you know that you could come to me at any step of the way and come and talk to me about anything that you're facing, any trial, any tribulation, any setback, anything in your mind, any type of depression, any type of dark thoughts. You know that you can come to me, your mother, and talk to me about it, because I give that space to you. The reason why you were able to go to synagogue at the age of 3 is because your father and I had already spoke about you traveling before we even had you, whether you were a girl or a boy. We had these discussions because they're important for people who are intermingling and having sex. If you're having sex, you need to be responsible, because there are repercussions behind that. You can have a baby, and then what are you going to do? And sometimes people be so blinded by their rose-colored glasses that they don't take the time out to think about the repercussions that are at hand should they have sex and have a baby. Yet me and your father talked about this, and that's why you were in synagogue, because we wanted you to have your culture, your language, your identity, and where you came from, so you wouldn't have to question it, such as I am Haitian American, but there's still a question behind that, because my mom, she was different, and because she was different, that made me grow up differently. And I'm not sure, there are a lot of things that I wasn't sure about when I was growing up, and I wanted you to be sure about where you came from, sure about who you are, sure about the languages you can speak, because at this point, you've been speaking 3 languages for over 10 years. By the time you get to see this video, it'll be about 10 years. You've been speaking, at the actual making of this video, you've been speaking 3 languages for 5 years. And I'm very, 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 very proud of you, being a young black girl from Atlanta, Georgia, born at Northside Hospital, where your mom had the courage to allow you to go overseas and experience a different type of life, regardless of what people had to say about it, so that you could blossom and become a beautiful black woman who stands in her power, who knows where she came from, that so that you could be unapologetically yourself without having to go through all the things that I went through growing up. I wanted you to be unapologetically yourself and not have people shun you and look down on you because of where you come from. You come from royalty. You come from passion. You come from love. You come from dedication. You come from discipline. You come from integrity. You come from morals. You come from principality. You come from the divine. You are absolutely beautiful. You are absolutely gorgeous. You are absolutely going to make it in life, because the people who created you are creating that to be. We want you to be as prosperous as you can, as abundant as you can. We want you to thrive. Me and your father was married for 9 years. We were together for 2 years. We were in matrimony for 2 years. The other 7, we were separated. Your dad might not admit it. I don't know. Your dad probably did love me. He grew to love me, but I don't think I was ever his type. I did a lot of changes for your dad. When I first met your dad, and he still is, he's Muslim. I was raised as a Christian. I knew no other religion besides Christianity. But when I met your dad, he was the catalyst for a change in me because I wanted to be on the same page as my husband. I always knew that one day I would get married and I wanted to be on the same page as my husband. And with your dad, he came in a different, he came differently than I expected him to. He came as a Muslim to be my husband. And when I married him, or before I married him, actually, did we? No, I think that I converted before you were born. But either way, I converted to Islam, and we had a ceremony, and my Muslim name became Aisha, Aicha, and I used to wear the garments, and my head was covered, my body was covered, and all you could see was the palm of my hand and my face when I was with your dad. However, things changed, and I don't need to go into the way that things changed because, again, me and your dad are on good terms. We always have your best interest at heart, so there's no need for me to go into details on why we split. You can ask him. However, it didn't work out for us, and we ended up going our separate ways. And once we went our separate ways, you was something we had to think about. Do she go with her mom? Do she go with her dad? What does she do? What is the best interest for the child? Your father and I realized it wasn't with either of us. I tried to I will let you visit my mom, my dad. You may not remember some of them, but I know you remember Mila. You love Mila. Mila. You know Mila. So I know that's how you say it. You say Mila, I love Mila. So you might not remember, but you spent a lot of time with my family as well when you was growing up. It was just very chaotic. Therefore, I chose to have you grow up in a completely different environment, a completely different state, a completely different everything that I grew up around, because I wanted my family lineage to change. I wanted my family lineage to change because I didn't want you to experience the same things that I growing up. I didn't want you to have to experience your mother going through these tumultuous times, because my heart was so into your father that it made me want to take myself out of this world, girl. And that's how deep love can be sometimes. So you might not understand it now. I don't know what age you'll watch this video, and you might not understand it. My channel isn't for kids under the age of 18, so you won't be able to see it unless you're over 18. However, I do know that I was so in love with your father, I could count his pores on his back. I could count every single pore on his body. Like, I could count. I was so in love with your father. One time your dad called me, and he was in South Carolina, and I was in Douglasville, Georgia, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and you were climbing up the stairs, and we was at our cousin Nikki's house, and your dad called me and said that he needed me. Your dad called me and said he needed me. I packed you up, girl. I put you in the car, girl, and we drove to South Carolina, girl, in probably like 4.5 hours, and it probably take like 5 or 6 to get there. So nobody can tell me I wasn't in love with your father. Your father know I was in love with him. I was so in love with your dad. I would do anything that he say. Anything your dad said, I would do it. No questions asked. So you ask, what happened? What happened, Mom? What happened? I just feel is your dad has to be honest. Your dad has to be honest with you about what really happened between he and I. Your dad has to be honest. And him being who he is, maybe because you're his daughter, you're his first daughter, and his only daughter at this time, for all I know. July 19th, 2024, you're his only child. Okay, I would just to you a little bit on why your father and I are not together. You can ask him the rest of the story. There was a lady who came to me on Facebook and told me that she was in love with your father. And she said that she was pregnant by your father. And I had suspicion that your father was doing what he was doing. Now, I do, for the people who are watching and like, okay, well, you just said he's Muslim, so he could do whatever he wants when it comes to another woman. Pause. Pause, Naomi, and pause, audience, for who's watching. First of all, when you're married to a Muslim man, unless he can take care of the household, shoulders back. I'm not editing this video. When a Muslim man chooses to marry one woman, that's his obligation. When a Muslim man chooses to marry two women, unless he's able to hold those two women up to the same standard, up to the same par, then he's cheating. He's not doing, and he didn't let the first wife know, he's cheating. So Naomi, your father cheated, and you can ask him about it, talk to him about it, and that's what happened. That's basically what happened. Your father, a lady came to me on Facebook. This might be a little messy for some, but you'll probably gonna find out by the time this video comes out anyway, because mama don't play that. But your father had got with this lady in Kentucky, and she told me that she was pregnant by your father. She contacted me via Facebook, being messy. She reached out to me. She was being messy. I didn't reach out to her, because what she was really mad about, let me tell you a little drama. What she was really mad about is the fact that your father was still, she was looking up and down my Facebook. You know, I don't know if you know what that is now, but this Facebook, social media, she was basically looking on my social media profiles, and she's seeing how well your father was taking care of home, taking care of, i.e. me and you, and had us put up because I was not working. What I was doing for your father is scheduling his bookings, scheduling his shows, scheduling his hotels, making sure that he was good when he got in the city to wherever he was going to while he was supporting us. Your father started his own business, his import and exporting business, where he would import merchandise from Senegal and bring it over here to America, and he would sell it at different shows. And me and your dad recently got divorced on May 29th. I think it's May 29th, 2024. And after our divorce, I found out that your dad actually has a store in Alabama. So your dad's smart. Your dad's very strategic. I didn't know he had the store while we were getting a divorce, which is fine. I don't care. I just wanted him to have, you know, make sure he had the best for you. Like, I've never stopped your dad from hustling and doing what he did. He broke my heart, but I never stopped your dad from being the hustler that he is and making sure that he provides. So the girl came to me. She said she was pregnant by him. I told her I don't care, because she confirmed my intuition. She when she confirmed my intuition, I told her, like, what do you want? Like, do you want a fucking cookie? You know, pardon my French, but I asked her, like, what do you want? I didn't know about you. He's still taking care of home. He's still taking care of his kid. He's still taking care of this. He's still taking care of that. Like, what do you want me to do about you, big bitch? Like, and that's what she was, a big bitch. It's like, she was a bit thicker than me in all, you know, the places that, you know, the Africans like. I'm slim. Your mom is a petite. I'm slim, baby girl. I wear 0 in my waist. Okay? 0 and my waist is gone. I don't have a waist. I could wear 00 if I want, honey. And I'm 31. So that is the blessing that I love it. However, when she came to me, I just told her, like, thank you for confirming my intuition. And I got her and your dad on the phone. And when I got them on the phone, they started arguing like they were a married couple. And I was like, oh yeah, so intuition confirmed. So after, I was like, okay, fine. As long as I got your kid, you're going to take care of me. That's what I told your dad. As long as I got your kid, you're going to take care of me. Your dad was like, you remember when we talked about our kid going to Senegal if we don't reach our goals before we have a kid? Because that's something else me and your dad talked about. We talked about our goals and what we would have to do should we not meet our goals before we had a kid, because we had become married. And at this point, you know, when you get married, you get with your partner, there's a chance you can have a kid. So when I was with your dad, it was a chance I could have a kid. And I mean, honey, you came quick. We got married on January 2nd, 2015. I found out I was pregnant with you in March of 2015. You were born by November 24th, 2015. You were supposed to be December 1st, 2015, but you came a week early. So I was in love with your dad. You were made out of love. You are love. You are my only kid. Unless it's like I said, it's July 19, 2024. I don't see myself being married anytime soon. You're my pride and my joy. You're my absolute pride and joy. You're absolutely amazing. I love you so much. Don't ever let somebody tell you that I don't. I love you so much. I love you so much. I had to put you in a position to win. I love you so much. I had to put you in a position to win at life. Win at being a black woman. Win. You were born in Atlanta, Georgia, at Northside Hospital. Your first language is English. Before you went to Senegal, you were speaking perfect English. That's your first language. Don't ever let nobody tell you it's different. Your first language is English. Your second language is Wolof. Notadu, Naomi. Ndegala, wow. That's your second language. Your third language is French. Bonjour, mademoiselle. And your fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth language will be whatever you choose it to be. I would love for you to learn Mandarin. I would love for you to learn. And Mandarin is what Chinese people speak. I would also love for you to learn Japanese. Diversify your culture. And Arabic. which is the originator of your father's religion, Muslims. I love Muslims, and I'm going to tell you why, and why I felt comfortable letting you go to synagogue, and why I felt comfortable letting you be around your family that I never met. This is a fact. This is a fact. You went out of the country before I ever did in my life. You got your passport when you were 6 months old. 6 months old. I had to lay you down on a flat table and put a sweater on you so they could take your picture from above. You didn't get your first passport taking picture like this. You got to take it from above. And after they took it from above, and I had to, when the last time I came to see you, today, it's 2024. I haven't seen you since while I'm making this video, it's 2024. At this point, I didn't see you in 2023. I transitioned and I moved from Georgia to Miami. And mommy needed that. Mommy needed that for her own spiritual growth so that I could be here today making this video for you now. Like, I had to get out of Atlanta. I was been told to get out of Atlanta and I didn't listen. But mommy, the last time mommy seen you was actually in August of 2022. Was it August? August of 2022. And I stayed there for a few weeks with you, and that was the last time we had our connection, and we physically seen each other. But you know, we've been FaceTime videoing each other almost every day. Hold on, my phone's about to die. I've always wanted to make this video for you. I just didn't know it would be today. Okay. So you were made from love. You come from love. You come from culture. You come from languages. You come from diversity. You come from inclusion. You come from balance. You come from your parents love each other. It just didn't work out between us. I personally believe, these are just my own thoughts, you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but ask your father. I believe your father married me because he needed his green card. I ain't even gonna, I think he needed his green card. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because people often ask me, like, have you and your husband, ex-husband, ever tried to reconcile after y'all have gotten the new, after y'all separated or whatever? I was like, no. He used to, like, when I first, there were signs early on that your dad might not have been the man for me. He ended up being the catalyst to my spiritual growth, but there were signs. And I didn't listen to those signs because I was so smitten with your father because he was from another country. He spoke like 5 or 6 languages, and he told me he spoke like 5 or 6 languages, but I used to want to hear him speak those languages, and it ended up turning out he only speaks 3, which is the same 3 that you speak: English, French, Wolof. And your mom taught him a lot of the English that he knows. Your mom taught him how to drive. Your mom helped him get his license. Your mom taught him what deodorant was. Your mom taught him what underwear were. Your mom taught him how to, because your dad used to spray like cologne under his arm, and that would be his perfume. Like, he would think that he's fucking got on deodorant, and he doesn't. I was the one that taught your dad these things. Your aunt, you have a Haitian, you have not a Haitian, but you have an African aunt who lives in Decatur, Georgia, and she has a house in Decatur, Georgia, and there's a church down the street from her house. That's where I taught your dad how to drive. I taught your dad how to drive late nights when he gets off from his security job, because your dad, let me tell you how I met your dad. I met your dad in Midtown in Atlanta. I went there to get my eyelashes done. Actually, when I met your dad, I was single, free, loving, just doing me. Like, I was just living my life. I had my own car. I had my own apartment. I had 2 jobs. I was working my 2 jobs, living in my own place, just living my life as your mom that you didn't even know you were going to be born to. So I'm living in Atlanta doing my thing, and I go get my eyelashes done at this suite in Midtown. But the thing is, your dad is sitting up as the security guard in like the middle of the post, and your dad has these light brown eyes, these beautiful black luscious eyelashes, and he has an accent. And I'm just like, and I asked him, like, sir, I think I told him, I lost my car, I need help or something, like, help me in this building. I was so lost. And your dad ended up helping me find my car. And then I think that I took him to like the opposite side of where we originally started. So I told your dad, like, get in the car with me, and I drove him back over to where I originally picked him up from, like where our search originally started. And we exchanged contact and we exchanged numbers, and it just like we hit it off from there. And I used to go see your dad after I would get off work. I would go see your dad. I was at I was working in the restaurant at the Joe's Crab Shack, and I was also working at the Home Depot corporate office. So I would go to your dad. I would go to work, and I worked at the restaurant on the weekends. So I would go to work during the weekday, and I would go see your dad downtown. And downtown Atlanta in Midtown. And when I would go see your dad, I would stay there all night with your dad, all throughout his shift. I was so in love with your dad. He would work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I would be staying, like on the weekend, I would stay out there with your dad on his shift. I would stay out there with your dad on his shift, and we would listen to music. He introduced me to this is a song he introduced me to that this song was the catalyst to my spiritual growth, because I heard this song and I was just like, oh my gosh, this song is amazing. This song makes me think of your dad. Like, it's definitely, I might have to chop it up. This is where I might chop the video so that I don't get copyrighted. But it's called, I could just pause it throughout the video. It's called Ja Cure. It's by Jah, J-A-H, Cure, C-U-R-E. And your dad used to sing this song to me all the time. Like, when I tell your dad, this is how I fell in love with your dad. He sung this song to me all the time. He just used to ask me what I wanted out of life, what was my vision, what I wanted to pursue, what I wanted to go after. Like, we would talk about kids, we would talk about life, we would talk about family, we would talk about all the things that we wanted to do in life and all the goals that we wanted to accomplish. And your dad he's still in college right now as I'm making this video. Your dad is pursuing a degree. I believe it's in engineering or like computers or something. But your dad, even at his age, I am 31. Your dad's 6 or 7 years older than me, so he's like 37, 38, and he's still in college right now pursuing his degree. And we made sure that you pursue, you probably, I hope you at least in college or have already got your degree by the time you're watching this video. To be honest, by the time you watch this video, you should probably be in your profession. Maybe you're just, I hope so. I hope that we've done a good job at parenting you to the point where you didn't have to wait in your latter years, such as your dad and I. Your dad is 38 going to college, and I too sometimes think about going back to school. I've even had someone recently tell me like I should go back to school and you should be the reason that I do so. But that's not motivative enough for me to want to do it because I want to prove it to you. No, we're going to make sure you do it regardless if I do it or not. But this is the song. It lightens up again. Me and your dad used to sing this song. We used to like, your dad would he worked 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The day that I met him, I don't even know how he was working that shift because that's not his normal shift. Like the day that I met your dad, that's not his normal shift. It's almost if we met by fate because that's not his normal shift. That wasn't his normal shift. His shift was 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. That was his shift because he was doing school in the daytime. But he worked overtime on this particular day, and that's how I met him. I'm gonna rub a little bit of this Miss Dior on while I sit here because I bought this perfume probably like, I don't know, almost a year ago, and I barely wear it. Like, do y'all like Miss Dior? Comment down below. Naomi, you'll have everything you want. Me and your dad met out of love. We love you. We want the best for you. We only see you having the best. I see you, like, I love that you speak French. I love that you can speak another language at your age because I've always just wanted the absolute best for you. Like, there are things that I'm buying now that I want to be able to give to you, such as this, like this little cute little bag. I'm be like, you know what, I gave this to my baby, or depending on how much I love it, by the time you know I'm ready to give it away, I might buy you one. But I love it, and it's not about having luxury, it's just about the quality of life. To me, luxury equals the quality of life that I'm living at that time. It's like if I can afford to have this bag, I can afford to, it reminds me of how far I've come because my mom didn't grow up rocking luxury. I never seen my mom rock a luxury bag, go take herself on a shopping spree, go just get her nails and toes done, go get her hair done, just buy perfume. My mom used to buy those $5 oils that you get from the hair store, and they smell good all day long. No, it's not about it being $5. It's about, to me, the quality of life. And not only have I wanted to advance and evolve so that I can have a better quality of life, but so that I can provide it to you as well. So that is, I wanted to share this video with you to let you know where I am in my life, what I'm experiencing at the age of 31, what I'm going through. I've seen videos be on YouTube for like 12 years. So maybe, you're 8 years old right now. Maybe you watch this 12 years from now and you're 20 years old. And then 12 years from now, I'm 43 years old and you're 20. And you can just look back and see what your mom looked like, because your mom looked good. Your mom look good. Your mom look good. Your mom want the best for you. Your mom love you so much. The only reason I let you go out the country is so that you can diversify your life. And you know where you come from, and you know your grandparents, and you've done some things I've never been able to do in my life. You met your great grandparents. You've met my mom, which is your grandmother. You met your dad, mom and dad, which is your grandmother and grandfather. And then you met your mother's dad. I mean, your great grandmother's dad. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. So you got, okay, so it's him, his mom, and then you met his mom's dad, which is your great-grandfather. Yeah, your great-grandfather. You met him. He died when he was like 106 or 107 years old with pearl blue eyes. And me and you have a picture with him. That's your great, you met him. So, and you're being raised, or you were raised by your grandmother and your grandfather, which are your dad's parents. It's not that I couldn't raise you, but I needed you to know where you come from. And to be honest with you, by the time you watch this video, I could be real with you. I ain't want you to see your mama, you know, hoeing around because she ain't with your daddy. And I'm going on different dates, and I damn sure didn't want you in my house and having different men in and out of my house because they see my child growing up, and they want to look at my child because my child look a little bit younger. Honey, by the time you watch the video, you might not know that's real, but baby girl, it's real. Baby girl, honey, it's real, and I couldn't have it. So, this video is getting a little long, and I wanted you to know that your parents love you, and I may make a second video letting you know that your parents love you so much. If you can see it, it's not that far away. That's what your dad used to tell me all the time, and that made me hone in on my meditation and my vision and what I wanted for your life, what I wanted for my life, and what I wanted for our lives. So you must know your mother loves you. Your mother loves